Okay, everybody, trying this a different way. So let's see how it works. All right. So we're going to look through some of the various types of math questions you could possibly see. So we're going to be using three of our questions. All right. Or three of our equations, rather. Now, one of the most important things to keep in mind is this right here. Convert to joules before plugging into the equation. Now, that is any of our equations. Our equations are for fusion, for vaporization, and then for specific heat. Before we use any of these, convert to joules. All right. When we solve, the answer must be in joules. Make sure you don't forget to do that. All right. So when you go through these, you always want some sort of a strategy before you start answering the question. That can be as simple as writing, that's my M. Kj is always going to be your Q. Vaporize. For vaporize, I'm going to write HV because that's what my vaporized term is. You might just want to underline vaporize because that shows you that it's this equation right here. All right, so I'll start by writing that equation. That'll be the beginning of the math. All right, now from here, we're looking for that, so maybe I'll say that's going to be X. They told us the grams. And then the HV, well, I know what that is actually. That's 2260, and that's from table B. All right, so make sure you look that up. All right, so the only thing from here, you're going to do this, you're going to see what you get, and that will be your answer. Whatever your answer is, this unit, really important to remember, the units here are going to be in joules. So we're going to have to convert back. All right, don't forget to do that because that is a big part of this question. All right, so when we're looking at this next question, again, we have how many kJs, that's your Q. You always want to start out by writing what your variables are. And I'm saying change ice to water. That's my HF. All right, so again, I'm going to use my Q, MHF. And again, so we're just going to plug in. We have 10 times 334. Again, that's from table B. And that's equal to your Q. Again, right, we want it in kilojoules, so you're going to have to convert. Whatever that is, you're going to have to convert. That's how you'll get from what your calculator told you to what the answer key tells you. All right. So I'm not going to answer this next one, but I will do the underlining and the setup for you. I have my KJ. That's my Q. All right. Whenever you see, all right, we'll look up here, all the way up in the top. Q, the units are always going to be either J or KJ. Always. So that's how we know that's the Q. Vaporizes, I'll write my HV. And mass, that's what they're asking us to find. So, again, Q equals MHV. And then when we plug in, so I will show you how to solve this one. We have to convert first. So we have to move the decimal place. Converting gets us to 2380. And we need to know the mass, so we don't know what that is. And our HV is 2260. All right, so the easiest way to solve this is to attack it like a math problem. I want to make this M be by itself. I want to make the 2260 disappear. I need to use inverse operations. If this is multiplication, I need to divide by 2260. I need to divide by 2260. This will cancel out. Your M will be whatever 2380 divided by 2260 is, and that is your answer. All right? And that should be what the answer key says. All right? So, let's look at the next one. We have heat of vaporization. We already know that's HV, but we'll write it just in case. We'll write it in here just because that's right where the number is. Calculate the quantity of heat energy. So this is your Q. That's what we're looking for. And we have the mass. Right? So the more we do, the more we see that we want to identify what kind of question this is. All right? So we could plug into this. You guys are going to do that on your own. We're going to skip a little bit farther ahead to question 6 because that one's a little bit different and we want to see that it's a little bit different. All right, look how the question starts though. The question starts exactly the same. I have a number with kJ. That's my Q. Joules or kilojoules are your Q. Now I have a temperature increase. So it looks like I have a TI. And I have a TF. Calculate the mass, that's what M is. All right, now, if I scroll back up to the top, Q is in both equations, M is in both equations. So the fact that we have both of those doesn't help us. But they gave us 2 temperatures. That's what the delta T means. This is one of the possible delta T questions. So let's zoom back in. And let's answer this. All right. So, all I want to do is plug into the equation. Now, the equation I'm plugging into, MC delta T. I need to convert this to joules. 11,600 equals, I don't know my mass. You always know your 4.018 because it's water. And in this case, they gave us the temperature change. All right, they gave us a temperature change. That's nice. So for this, it's going to be whatever 65 minus 20 is. All right, so I'm going to just I'm going to move this up top just so I have a little bit more space. All right, so I have my 11,600 equals M times 4.18 times and 65 minus 20, that's going to be 45. Right? So, I have a neat little trick for you. You can choose to use it or not. I think this trick makes it a little bit easier, and it's going to be how you plug this into your calculator. In order to solve this, you're going to want to divide. We have multiplication and we have multiplication. So in order to separate all of this, we want to do division. So the way we're going to set this up is going to look a little something like this. The 4.18s will cancel. The 45s will cancel. Whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. So we'll do that. So your mass is going to be equal to this big calculation. Now, for this calculation, there's a very particular way that I want to try to show you how to do this. All right. Now, I don't have my calculator up, so you're just going to have to plug and follow along as I talk it out for you. Type in 11600 divided by 4.18 and then press enter. Now press divided by 45, enter. The answer you get should be the answer to this question, and your units will be grams. All right. If you need to rewind the video to get that in perfect order, I suggest doing that. All right. The very particular way of using the calculator, it is the way to make sure you don't make any mistakes. So if you're worried about making mistakes in the middle of the test doing calculations, rewind the video, take another look at how to use that, and try to use that procedure for using your calculator for some of the rest of these. All right. So let's take a look at one more question, and we'll try and see what kind of question it is, and then you guys can go on your merry way and practice. All right. So now what we're going to do is, again, we have our Q. I have the word melt, so I'm not really sure what that's going to mean. and I have a mass. All right, so they only give us one temperature, and they give us melt. So now I'm remembering that melt relates more specifically to my HF, and I can use that specific formula. All right, so hopefully that helped clear up some things. Hopefully that helped sort out all the 3 types of math questions that you could see. Be very careful with your math and show your work, and we will do the best to give you credit where possible. Happy studying, everybody.